Hey everybody!
Hi friends, welcome to Recovered Two Friends, One Path. My name is Jessica and I'm an addict.
My name is Kathy. I'm an alcoholic. Before we get started, we're going to read you a little disclaimer. This is solely our opinions. We are not affiliated with any group or program. Our sole purpose is to help others fighting addiction and or alcoholism and offer help and knowledge on how we stay clean and sober. This is 100% raw and real. We do cuss, we do tell war stories, we do cry, we do laugh, we do recover. We'll be giving you some 1-800 numbers at the end of this to help you along your journey. And then we're going to jump right into
Step 6 tonight, right?
Step 6.
Y'all, we are halfway there on our step series journey.
Yes, so step 6 is we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character.
Start Alexa real quick. You want to do Alexa or you want to just pay attention to the time?
Alexa, start a timer for 55 minutes.
The best part about step 6, there really requires no action from anything. You have to just be ready to have God do it. Doesn't mean you have to do it. You just have to be ready for Him to do it and notice the small things in yourself that maybe aren't the greatest things about you.
Well, step 4 and 5 kind of give you an outline of what and that's the reason why steps are in
The order, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
y'all don't jump from 2 to 6 to 9 to 12 because there is a reason for the order.
I was doing that fresh out of rehab. I was like, oh, I got to make amends. I got to make amends right now. And
a lot of us do that. We do that. We jump ahead.
Do that. But luckily, I'm not saying in everybody's favor, but immediately after I got out of rehab, I felt the need to reach out to some employers that I had been fired for drinking. That I really had done wrong. I took their money and didn't do the work a lot of times. I was too drunk. So I felt the need, and I did immediately. Like, I am so sorry. And I wasn't job searching.
Right.
Or anything. I
think some of us when we get sober
wanted to
feel
say I was sober.
That's fair. We get sober and we feel like we want to fix a lot of the stuff we wronged.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do jump to amends, especially at home. We first come home, we're like, oh yes. God, please forgive me.
Yes.
We start with all our kids and our husbands, and it's just not that way. I had a husband that I do like that. I keep forgetting it. But anyway, I do have a husband that wanted me to go directly to step 9 all the time because, I was very, very terrible to him. And he wanted me to dump all of my info directly onto him and tell him everything I had done right away. And my sponsor was getting frustrated because she was like, there's a reason for the steps. And
in order.
And I went and told him all of the things that he wanted to hear, and it ruined my marriage. And I wish now I would have just shut my mouth and done what I was told and done the right thing. Because you can make an amends without hurting someone.
Right, and amends is, it's not necessarily, I'm sorry, it's this is what I done to you type of thing.
You can do a living amends where you don't have to hurt someone.
Yes, and it's whenever we get to the amends part, we'll talk about it. But don't be in such a hurry to go ahead and jump forward, Do your character defects, list them. That way you're prepared whenever you get to the amends part.
What does it say? To be rigorously honest and to do it with all you have, because you can't be doing it with all you have if you're looking to the next 4 steps. Just focus on what you're on and do it to the best of your ability.
Well, after you and I worked step 4 and 5, I realized a lot of my character defects was pride, resentment, anger, selfishness, fear.
Fear's a big one. You didn't even know that one.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, holy shit. The only thing I had on my list of fear is snakes and losing my house, being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And
after we did some
or
more,
now that I think about it, a house full of snakes. That's even worse.
Stop. Okay, that's good.
That's
Stop.
a dope rope. So, woo, shit! I just saw your hair flip up and it scared me. Okay,
Kathy,
sorry.
I don't have time for this tonight. Look, okay, y'all. Here
Oh
we
my
go.
God.
Let's get serious now.
Leave your hair back there.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let's get serious. So, back to step 6, no fears, no craziness. This book, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, I did nothing by telling y'all. This book is amazing. The 12 steps for everyone, because you don't have to be an alcoholic or addict to work them. This book is pure gold. This step is amazing. Okay. Having gone through step 5, we've completed the first part of our initial house cleaning, and in doing so, we may have come a long way toward entirely ready to have God remove all of our defects of character. However, many of us, step 6 looks almost too simple. Of course, we are ready to have our defects of character removed. This is what we have been trying to do all of our lives, which is to be perfect. Who wants to be saddled with selfishness, self-centeredness, resentments, and anxieties and fears and all the rest? Most of us fervent wish to have all of them removed. But few of us realize until we have gone through the prior steps that wishing or wanting to have our character or defects removed does not automatically make us ready to have them removed. Because some of them worked for us. Even asking God to remove them, as we do in step 7, will not help if we're not ready. And what does being ready mean? When we are ready, we will know how. We will know when we are ready. So,
You're just doing the prep work.
yeah, doing the prep work, and I'm going to tell y'all, a lot of our character defects are used in our addiction, our alcoholism, to get by, survival, and things like that we use every day. And some of them worked for us for so long that we don't want to give them up.
That's what we were doing, was we were just barely surviving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that puts us in a place to where we have to be stingy, selfish, you know, because you got to get that next fix, that next drink.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we're clean and sober, we're stingy and selfish because we protect all this.
Mm-hmm.
All this.
And we're still sick in our minds. We're still sick in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so just because we've put a drink down doesn't mean that we have done the work to be sober-minded. So
they're dry.
They're dry.
You know, there's dry drunks, and we've said it before, dry drunk is, you know, they're sober, but they're dry. I mean, they're not drinking. They're dry.
And the thing is, too, that people miss is that alcohol is but a symptom of this whole disease. And drugs as well are just a symptom of this disease. And with that, the problem lies inside me. And all of these defects of character, all of these fears, all these resentments, that is what drove me to punish myself over and over and over again. And by doing these steps and having them removed, I no longer have a desire to punish myself.
No.
Do you feel better about you?
I do. I know that whenever I finally decided and had the aha moment, I could not find stuff to worry about. Like, I would catch myself saying, I need to work. I was searching, and I was like, I really don't have anything to worry about. Mm-mm. It was just a sense of calm that I had never
That's that peace you get
in my life. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've always been the one, the go-to, you know, the strong one,
Mm-hmm.
the everything. I was always that person.
Right.
And then whenever I became that pitiful drunk who just wanted to die on her couch, to where I'm at now, it's like,
it's a world of difference, isn't it?
oh, gotcha. And I hear people say, I can't do it. And I tell them all the time, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because
anybody can.
Anybody can.
It's a want to, and it's a desire to do something different with your life.
It's a necessity to live, continue living, because there's not too many people
To drink is to die.
Yeah, it's slow suicide. God, it's a slow suicide.
It's a horrible death. It's horrible. You know, I tell everybody too, and this is one of the biggest things I tell people so that they understand what I'm saying. A bottle of alcohol can sit on that shelf behind us till the end of time and not do anything.
Mm-mm.
And the minute I put it in my body is when things go to shit. Okay? So what that tells me is I am the problem.
Yeah.
And the disease lies inside me, not inside that bottle. And so the only way for me to have my medicine, as I call it, is to work the steps and go to meetings. Not saying that's for everybody. We've already said that.
We've already said that.
Anybody can do whatever they want, you know. And some people stop drinking and are just as happy as they can be. For this addict, that's how it worked.
Well, we get the promises. You know,
if you're painstaking about this phase of your development, you'll be amazed where you're halfway through, and you are. It's so great. All of that nasty stuff that lived in me. I'm not gonna say all of it because this is not a perfect world, but most of it's been removed. And, you know, I try every day to get up and be a better version of who I was the day before.
Mm-hmm.
I do try. None of this is perfect by any means. I still have problems. I still have issues, but they are nowhere near what they were before.
We have grown adult issues now, instead of where's my next whatever,
or my next dollar to get my next whatever, or who I'm going to have to con to get it.
If we have grown people issues, we still had them before, but now that's our main issues. Is, you know, the grown folks typical shit.
I wasn't living. I didn't have, you know, the normal stuff was I didn't even know what normal adulting was until a couple of years ago. It still took me a while to get there. Like, it wasn't immediate by any means. And it took me a long time to understand what just normal everyday adult problems were.
Right. And to me, all the shit that was being piled on me by being the strong one, the reliable one, the one that, you know, extra car, come drive it, extra room, come live in it. You know, all that was just so much pressure building. And finally it was just like,
exploded, didn't it?
Yeah, because I didn't want to give a shit anymore. And I was lying to myself, which character defect, dishonesty. I was lying to myself by saying, I can handle this. I don't need help. And anybody that knows a little bit of my story, Jessica took me to my very first meeting.
And she was convinced then she didn't need it.
No.
She got sober once and still didn't need it. Still didn't need it. Still didn't need it. She tried. And I still say it to this day, if I had a nickel for every alcoholic or addict that said they didn't need some sort of help, whether it be steps or rehab or detox or something, I'd be rich. I'd be rich. It says we must really relinquish our egos. We must truly seek God's will for us and relinquish our own. That is so key in this step, is that we have to be able to understand that I am not in control anymore, and that I have to give everything I have to my higher power, or this is just not even worth doing.
It's not.
You've got to follow His will, and you've got to do what is right in His eyes, not what's right in Jessica's. And that's what was so hard for me about this step, is that I could not, for the life of me, understand what God's will was. Like, I don't know why it was so hard for me to grasp God's will. And, you know, people pray God's will be done. Well, it will be regardless. You know, I had to realize that. And I quit with the 911 prayers and asking God to do this and asking God to do that. What am I starting to do? Ask Him for, you know, give Him advice?
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to give God, I'm praying, Lord, please let this happen. I'm not giving God advice. What I have to understand is I have to be accepting of what God does. That's God's will. being accepting
But that's
of
what
it.
we were doing, the 911s,
Mhm.
you know. And people say, "Oh, I."
We were talking about
We had to pause for a second.
we were talking about the praying and seeking God's will. Let's see. Be entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character also means we have to be ready for freedom.
Freedom from what, Jessica?
For without our defects to fall back on, without our faults to blame, I can't help it, I'm just that way. There are no more restraints to freedom. We become free to choose, free to act, free to be, and we are left with the total responsibility for our attitudes, feelings, behavior, and the existential sense. We become our own person, free to live life as we choose and how we choose it. It may seem to some that we are not entirely free since we have chosen God, but that is not so. Since God is infinite and imposes no limitations on us, we are truly free. We have chosen God for our own well-being and for that of others. In short, for the development and growth of our spiritual selves and thus the entire universe. That's huge. That's so much there that I don't even know where to go with that.
Well, the universe. I mean, where could you go?
I mean, everywhere. It's scary for some people, though. It's a frightening thought not to have that stuff to lean back on.
It is. That's what I was saying. I was a nervous wreck, not being able to find something to worry about. I mean, I really was.
I hear you. Yeah, I can see
was
it.
a wreck. I'm like,
Sorry.
you know, whenever the company I work for, whenever they shut down, everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're not freaking out." And no,
You were happy you didn't get fired for drinking.
yeah,
During the party.
I was like, I should be worried about it, but I'm not.
You shouldn't be.
And that's just, you know, it's an amazing feeling to not have to worry about things. Now I'm just worried because we're getting low on coffee. And,
Yep.
you know, just the grown people adulting shit. You know, low on coffee, not low on liquor, or we don't have any pills on our nightstand to take. I would much rather be just a little bit low on coffee than
The other one, right?
yeah, just that little tidbit. But life's gonna be life, and no matter what. And it's how we use our character defects to continue life.
It's all about how we handle it, how we control, how we respond.
Yes.
And how we react to the things that are happening around us. And when you are able to control yourself and your emotions and your mouth and your shortcomings, you're truly starting to be a different person.
Yeah.
You become a different person when I'm not being loud and screaming in somebody's face because they didn't do what I liked. And I'm actually sitting back and trying to be understanding of that person. It makes me be a different person completely.
Well, and you know, a lot of people don't understand why, and I'm just going to say us, but us as in we work our steps, us, don't understand why we have to guard and do what is necessary in the steps. You know, I could very easily be dishonest about certain things. It'd be sometimes easier just to be dishonest about certain things. However, I know if I'm dishonest, I'm going to have to turn around and write it down.
You have to tell on yourself.
And tell on myself.
You gotta call your sponsor and
Yes.
say, listen to what I did. Then you gotta go make an amends.
Yes.
And it's just not worth all the work, is it?
Yeah, it's not. And so I'm like, look, I'm just going to, as Jessica said, I'm just going to be 100 with you.
You'll be 100 with you. I'm just
I'm
gonna tell
just
you
going
the
to be
truth.
100 with you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you how it is.
And that is a huge thing because there's so many people who rely on being dishonest to get them. Because let's face it, they're alcoholics, addicts. We lie, cheat, steal. You know,
That's who we are. Is what we do.
You may say, I never stole anything. You're stealing your time from your family, you know?
Ooh, that's good, Kathy. That's golden. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, we lie. I'm not drunk. I've never heard somebody get pulled over and tell an officer, whenever he said, you had any to drink? I've never heard about anybody saying, yeah, I had a handle. It's always been one or two.
One or two.
Two drinks. Yeah, 2 drinks. You know.
2 beers in 2 hours.
Yeah. We lie.
Mm-hmm. And we cheat.
Yeah, we cheat. We do. That's
just what we do.
That's just what we do. I cheated. Not gonna lie about it. I did.
That was my middle name.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have to do with the gorillas, did it?
Mm-mm. Not that time. Not that time. Lastly, we need to examine the working the 6th step entirely ready and all these defects of character, which makes step 7 sound as though at a single point in time become completely and absolutely ready to have all our defects of character removed at once. For some people, it might actually happen this way. Like a thunderbolt, they became ready and they asked God to remove all their shortcomings. That's step 7. The shortcomings are gone. These people experience a sudden spiritual awakening. They are, in fact, reborn as the Sensen Buddha and reborn when they wake up, and emotionally and spiritually, these are new people. I'm going to tell y'all, it's not a joke. It really happens that way for some.
Yes.
It really does. Now, it says quickly and slowly for some, right? Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
They all materialize as long as you work.
Mine was literally that. It was everything but a thunderbolt. There was a wind and an earthquake, and at that moment I knew I was somebody different. And everybody's awakening happens differently, and it happens at different times and different steps, and it depends on how hard you work it and what you're actually doing. Mm-hmm. But it does happen to everybody. I haven't had anyone who actually thoroughly works the steps and came back and said, I didn't get no awakening, nothing happened, nothing changed in my life. And it's not always a thunderbolt. It's not always a wind. It's not always a earth-shattering thing like it was for me. But this is the beginning when you start changing that inside, and that flower starts to bloom and grow. Mm-hmm. And that's when everything around you changes. That's when people start noticing the change in you. Like, people around you will notice it before you do. People like, oh my gosh, Kathy, like, you're different today than you were before. Like, I'm seeing such a change in you. Because guess what? You're ready to admit you did something wrong. You're adjusting your behaviors and saying, you know what? I'm not going to be selfish today. I'm not going to be prideful today. I'm not going to be deceitful. I'm not going to be dishonest. And guess what? That's what everybody was used to with us. So when they see us turning it and doing something different, they're like, what is this?
A little different here.
A little different. Something's up. And then slowly but surely you start seeing it in yourself. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you know what? I have changed. I have. And Lord, it feels good to know
it does
that I have put the work in, and that, like, I don't have to be that person ever again unless I choose to do it. And that's it. I'm one decision away.
Everybody, the difference between someone with 1-day recovery and someone with 50 years recovery, the difference is they're 1 drink away from relapse.
One. Just one. We all have today. And that's
all we have.
Literally it. Even people who don't drink and drug that just want to be here, you have today too. You only have today. That's what everybody's got. And 1 day at a time, we can all do this together.
Yes.
1 day at a time, we can wake up and decide to be different. 1 day at a time, we can decide not to tell a lie. Mm-hmm. 1 day at a time, we can decide not to drink. 1 day at a time, we can decide to spend more time with our children. 1 day at a time, we can fix and change ourselves. And that's what this whole program is about.
And that's why it's called 1 day at a time. I can't sit here and say, you know what, tomorrow, the next day, whenever I wake up and pray, I just ask for today.
Mhm.
Today, don't let me drink.
Mm-hmm.
Today, give me the strength, power, and wisdom to do your will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I pray for all the ones that are still suffering and the poor children that are caught up in it. You know,
Yeah, that's
have
the
no
worst
say
part.
so in
That's
it.
the worst part of the kids that are involved. It's so terrible. Sorry, guys.
My alarm was going off.
But you know, the slower, I mean, the more we do this, and the more you step back away from yourself, you give your will to God, you start trusting Him, you stop doing the stuff you were doing, you make changes. Instead of walking left, you walk right. You know, your life is going to get better. And like Kathy said, life is going to life. Bad things happen to good people. The only difference is how we react to it.
Yep.
The only difference is what we do with it. And, you know, today...
Think about it. Don't drink about it.
That's right. That's right. Today, I try to make better decisions than I made yesterday. And today, I try to remember that I am worth the work.
Mm-hmm.
And that people do make mistakes. Doesn't mean I should, but we do. We're human beings. And that I am a work in progress.
We all are.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one perfect. As much as we try, we're not. And I'm good with that.
I'm sure Mother Teresa had character defects.
Everybody does.
I'm sure of it.
You know, a big one of mine was the resentment and anger. I
Was it big?
realized how much resentment I had towards people. And it was for things that they probably don't even remember. But it's been in my head, eating my lunch for decades.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it until I started doing the steps. I'm like, resentment. And I started writing the shit down, and literally, guys, I've got I can't tell you how many of these notebooks.
She's got quite a few pages
that I've probably got 4 of these notebooks where I just write stuff down. And I realized, damn, I'm an angry MFer. You know? I have a lot of resentments. And it actually blew my mind that, hell, I didn't start drinking a lot earlier in life with the fact that I was letting that in my head on the daily for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, shit, it wouldn't have surprised me if I become an alcoholic whenever I was younger. You know, with all the dumpster fires that was going on in my life. But instead of going and, like we said, extinguishing out that dumpster fire, I was just sitting there and
add more to it.
Add liquor to it. Make it, you know, blow shit up. Now I don't have to, thank God, I don't have to live like that. I just, unfortunately, I still have to see other people's dumpster fires that are associated with me. And yeah, I try to give advice, but at some point, you know, it's like, mind your business. Let them deal with their own. And Jessica's working with me on it, because Lord knows I'm like, oh, let me help you. They don't want your help. They didn't listen to you 5 years ago. They don't want your help. But here I am like, if you would do this, if you would do that, and then I have to...
What's that thing I told you about? If everybody in the ballet would just do what I say.
Yeah.
Everything would go off perfect. But unfortunately, they don't want to listen. But my biggest thing, too, that helped me is when I realized if I could just help myself. If
That's
I could
what
just help
that is
myself.
what I am trying so hard. And that's a struggle to me.
Me too, because we're caretakers. We want to help people. We want to do stuff. We want to like bring in every tiny little person and love them back to life. But you know what? I need to love me back to life first.
Yes.
And there is so much left to do in my life, and there's so many things that I have to work on. I will never be done. I will never be done. I will always be a work in progress. I am my own masterpiece that I will never get done painting. And I want to be proud of it instead of ashamed to admit who I am and what I've done. Today I like to use what I've done to be able to help others. That's why Kathy and I do this. We were not afraid to share our secrets and the things that we've done. And that's why we've done this, because we want to be able to help somebody that truly wants it. And this way, we are not forcing our help on anybody. If you tune in, you want to listen to us, we're here. We want to help y'all.
We do this for us as much as we do it for you.
That's true. I get so much out of this.
We do.
We get so much out of this, but this is a way that we have figured out that we can help others without it affecting our lives wholeheartedly. Like not bringing home little orphans every weekend and
stray dogs.
Strays. I was bad too.
Strays.
But we love doing this, and it's like this is honestly the highlight of my week every week.
It is.
We come together and do this every week, and we love being able to share our knowledge and understanding with y'all. And in the interim, it helps us too.
And you went to CARES and got your CARES and your CARES certificate. So, that's put you in a position soon to where you're going to be able to help even more people.
That's my hope. There is an RSO opening up here in Newton County.
What is a RSO?
It is a recovery outreach. What is it? A RSO. What does it stand for? I forgot now. Now that you put me on the spot. Recovery outreach.
Something.
Outreach. Yeah, it's something like that. Anyway, it's a place that anybody in recovery or wanting recovery can go to, and they have them. They set up with like therapy and
that's places. Cool.
Yeah, places for for like detox. All the above. Anything that someone that is struggling with drugs. I know everybody's kind of against it, but they will do Narcan and Narcan education. There will be just all sorts of things that help out that type of community, and it's amazing that it's coming here. I'm so happy, and maybe I can get involved in something in there.
That would be great.
It would be really super
that
cool.
That would be really good.
But I am really, really excited about it. I know Walton County's got one and a few others, but it's becoming kind of a big thing because this is a problem that's never going to go away. This is a problem that's never going to go away, and more people are affected every day, every year, every moment. And
life's been a life.
Life's been a life for anybody and everybody. While you take over for a second, I'm going to see if I can see what RSO actually is. Hold on. That's going to drive me nuts.
You was talking about it's still going to carry on, and this is a forever problem. I go by this book, and I'm not going to say the name of it. I got a cover over it, but it was written in the 30s, and it's been added to, but the main part has not been changed. You want to know why? Because it fucking works.
Recovery Services Organization.
Okay.
Recovery Services Organization. They're specialized and often certified agencies to do support stuff like peer mentoring, recovery coaching, community resources to individuals and families that navigate recovery from social substance use or mental disorders.
That would be great to have.
Yeah, it's non-clinical, peer-driven services aimed at maintaining long-term recovery. The RSO help people build skills, find safe environments, and connect with resources to sustain their sobriety and improve their quality of life. So this is not something like a doctor's office or anything like that. This is people who work for and run by people who have been affected directly by drugs and alcohol.
And that's something the community needs.
It is.
It's not, unfortunately, this epidemic's not just gonna.
It's not going to go away.
It's not gonna go away. How you control it,
How you help people, how we go about it is huge. Like this, when I was, we're going to steer away for a second, but when they were talking in CARES about the difference in clinical and peer help, most of these people, not everybody, most of these people on clinical staff are not like us. Okay. So when you go in and you say, hey, this is a problem I'm having, they look at it from a medical standpoint and they're like, well, no, this is the way you're going to do this. When you have someone who has been in that position and are a peer person, when they come in and talk to you, you understand where they are, and you're probably more apt to be able to help them and let them be the leader of their recovery. It's not led by us, it's led by them. They get to make the decisions.
that's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know at my rehab, there was like 2 people that worked there. Not gonna say any names or anything, but neither one of them, everybody but those 2 were in recovery. And I remember saying, how the hell can she help me? She's not an alcoholic, she's not an addict, she's just got a PhD, a degree. You know, how is she can't relate to me. And I'm not saying I looked down on her or anything, or him, because there was different ones. But whenever you're in rehab, you want the ones who can relate to your issues. I've always said my redheaded angel at rehab with the Newport cigarette earrings tatted up, Jen, she saved me. I wasn't going in there. But I can relate. I can relate to everybody.
Been there, they don't have the empathy or sympathy for people like us. If you've never been there and you've never done that, this disease honestly just looks pathetic. And if you've been one of us, you understand it. I don't say that you make excuses for it. I didn't say that you say that behavior is acceptable. I didn't say that it's okay. I just said that they understand where you are.
They have the empathy to understand because they've been there. And people, you know, the other day whenever I said something about the disease, they were like, you consider that a disease? And I was like, well, if you got a couple hours to talk, I'll educate you. And there's still people out there, oh, it's not a disease, it's a choice. You know, we'll do a podcast on that one day. And I have close friends who think like that. That's fine. To each your own. I know what I know. That's what's in my head, what I've read, stuff like that. Your disease wants you dead. Period.
It never goes away. It is always
it is.
there.
Look, that disease is in the back of your head doing damn push-ups. It's sitting there doing
strengthening up, getting ready.
And it sounds like you. It'll sit there and say, hey, it's okay. You can have just a glass of wine because you're not a wine drinker. You can have a beer. You didn't really have a problem with beer. Your problem was liquor. Just stay away from the red stuff. That's what my disease is in the background.
Mine too. Lies to me all day long, but it tells me the same shit, and that's how I know who it is.
Yeah.
It's the same lies.
Yeah. Back there doing push-ups and pull-ups.
You know, it's funny we're talking about this is a disease, you know. This is the only disease you can get yelled at for having.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. You don't yell at a cancer patient.
Yeah.
People will get mad at us. It's the only disease you can get yelled at for having.
People do. Because they're like, it's not a disease, it's a choice. Okay.
To an extent it is. I believe this. I believe that when you are actively active in your alcoholism or addiction, you don't have a choice. You're in the grip of it. It's got a hold of you. Once you have had a taste of sobriety, you then have a choice.
Right.
And if you then step back and have a setback, then you've made a decision. Now,
And the first drink is consumed by you. The second drink is an already mentally altered, drunk
let
person
me tell you something.
making that decision to take the second
No,
drink.
the first one gets you drunk.
Yep.
The first one gets you drunk. The first drink gets you drunk. I could never understand that at first. I was like, the first drink gets you drunk. No, it usually took me 6. No, the minute you drink it, you're going to get drunk. The first one. That first one does it.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you take that in your body, you've made a decision. And it's the same way with anything.
Nobody can eat one Pringles.
That's true.
Or one Lay's.
That's right. Once you take that first one, whether it be extracurriculars or the wet stuff, that first one does it every time.
And like I said, your first drink, yeah, you are sober, Kathy, doing just a stupid thing, and then the next drink, that is the next and next and fifth and sixth and eighth. That's not the same person who took that first drink.
Mm-hmm.
That's already a mentally screwed up Kathy. Just add a little bit of liquor to it, blow shit up.
Like I said, there's nothing wrong with the liquor. It's wrong with me.
It is. And until we did all this painstaking work, we didn't know what was wrong with us, why we couldn't just not use, just not drink. People say, just put it down. And I done that with my brother. I was like, why can't you just freaking stop drinking? And I had resentment towards him that I've had to work out. And I had to understand why. And it wouldn't, he died June 19th. What is Juneteenth though? June
17th, I think.
He died the day before Juneteenth, whatever that is. And it was a year and a half later, I was full blown.
Changed the way you thought about it, huh?
Yeah, because I had resentment towards him. I was like, why didn't you stop? Why'd you let yourself become this? And I had resentment. Then I understood why.
That's why it's important for someone who works with addicts and alcoholics to be one themselves.
Had I known now, or had I known back then what I know now, it would have been a different story. Because whenever he was sitting there saying, I only drink 6 a day, we lie, cheat, steal. We lie. That's the key word, we lie. We never tell anybody how much we're really drinking. This is just my first drink today. And why are you falling down on the floor, having a seizure and shit? That ain't your first drink today. Maybe your first drink this hour, and it's 12:05. But I had to understand, and maybe that was God's way of saying, hey, this is you understanding. And I had to give myself a lot of grace. Through a lot of therapy and a lot of talk, I had to give myself grace and understanding and having the empathy for someone who is still struggling, and the empathy for those who relapse and don't come back. Because I'm going to tell you, anytime I see a relapse, and I know it's not supposed to, it does not affect my sobriety, but it takes a piece of it.
It hurts.
It hurts. It hurts. It takes a little piece of me. And then whenever they come back, if they live to come back, it puts a little piece back. And
there's nothing worse than believing that somebody can do it and watching them fall down over and over and over again, and
that breaks my heart.
Yeah, mine too. And knowing that they can do it and they have it in them. I know that I was a frequent backslider, and I don't think I kept doing it because I wanted to use. I think I kept doing it because I didn't think I deserved it. And
Ooh,
I
that's pretty deep.
well, like I said,
You didn't feel worthy.
but not necessarily that. Like I said, I just wanted to punish myself. I wanted to continue beating myself to a pulp because I wasn't happy with me and who I was. And so I didn't feel like maybe that I deserved happiness and that I deserved to be normal, and or that I even was capable of having a decent life. You know, I'd been beat up so badly by my mom. I was beat up so badly by life. I was beat up so badly by my husband, but I deserved it. But I was beat up so badly by all these things and all these people that I started believing the shit I was told.
Yeah.
You know, I think I fell into addiction. It wasn't something I wanted. None of us get up and say, I want to be an addict today.
Yeah. That's what some people say.
I fell off, like you fall in love. I fell off, and like it was off to the races at that point. But when I realized that it actually numbed everything out and I didn't have to feel it anymore, then I just continued to not feel it anymore. I just kept shutting it off. And then I'd come home and get yelled at some more, and I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it, why not? And I'd go run off again. And then finally I just got to the point where I didn't believe that I even deserved to be sober and that I didn't deserve that kind of life. And then I was sober up for a while and start trying to work some steps and start trying to do some shit. And then, of course, because of other people's hurt that I caused wholeheartedly, they would not be happy even though I was trying to do better. And I'd be like, fuck it, I don't care anymore then. You know, if it's not worth it, why keep going? And I would throw it away again. And really, that person should have probably got some therapy for their stuff too. And they just, and it was my fault. I mean, I give it to them. It was my fault. But after so many people and so many years and so many times of me screwing up other people's lives, it got to a point to where I just didn't think I deserved to have a decent life. It was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep beating myself up, and I'm gonna keep punishing myself for this, not realizing that I was digging my own hole. If I maybe had stopped when I should have and first tried,
right,
maybe those things could have been mended over time and therapy and things like that. But looking at it now, I see that. But as that sick, sad person, I didn't see that then. I didn't understand that.
Were you just trying to use any excuse possible just to... Because I've had people say, well, if I'm going to be accused of it, I might as well do it.
I don't think
and
it was
that's their
that.
reasoning for relapse.
I don't think that was necessarily it. It wasn't that I was like, well, fuck it, if I'm getting accused of it. It was more like, well, fuck it, if I'm a loser and I'm a whore and I'm a piece of shit and I'm a bad mom and I'm a shitty wife and I'm a shitty fucking person, fuck it. Where's it at, you know? And it was like, if that's who I am and that's what I look like and that's what I am to all of y'all, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And I was like, so guess what? I'll go run off again. Now, nobody deserved it. None of my kids and none of my husbands, nobody deserved it. But I guess this whole conversation, other than the character defects that we talked about, is empathy and understanding that this disease grabs people and it tears them apart. And they're drowning in their resentments. They're drowning in their character defects. They're drowning in their fears and their hate for themselves and their anger and all that shit. And then you got somebody on the other side, which is not wrong, but you got somebody on the other side that is so hurt too because it's a family disease. It trickles downhill and we hurt people.
Yep.
And guess what happens? Hurt people hurt other people. And then guess what? It's a vicious cycle.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Who's going to hurt the next one? And then this one's hurt, this one uses. That one's hurt, this one uses. That one's hurt, this one uses. And it's just over and over again. The kids are watching this going, what? they're not being able to have any kind of normalcy, none whatsoever, because even the person that isn't using is so caught up in the other person's addiction that the kids, they are just effed up from the word go.
Yeah.
And, the whole house is coming down. And, yes, it started with my addiction. And nobody did anything wrong to me. I deserved every bit of probably what was said to me. However, in my eyes later, looking back, I know that if I felt like no matter what I was going to lose, no matter what happened, things were not going to get better for me. And that if I wasn't going to be any better, why do it sober? Why still get up and suit up and show up? I was worthless. I was this, I was that. I was this awful mother. My kids hated me. I was like, then fine. Guess what I'm going to do? At least I'm going to numb it out and shut it up.
That's exactly what I was doing.
And I'm not alone. A lot of people felt that way. A lot of people, that's their reasoning. It's not, if I'm being accused, I'm gonna do it anyway. It was more like, well, guess what? If this is the way I am, and this is how y'all feel about me, and this is what I've been told my whole life is that I'm just a losing piece of shit, mother, whatever, then fuck it. That's what I'm gonna be. And I don't want to hear it anymore. If that's what I am, then that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. I punished myself for another very long 10 years after my first marriage. And I know that I didn't feel like I was going to ever get better, and that I wasn't worth getting better, because I'd already done the damage to everybody around me. I'd already destroyed my husband's life, my kid's life, and my own. Everybody thinks I'm insane, and it was like, you know what, forget it. I just quit. I just give up. And then there was a day it was a few days that I was by myself. I just absolutely alienated everyone. And I was like, God, I know there's something else, and there is something else here that I need to find, and I know that this can't be all there is. I know this is not all there is to life. Like, God showed me, I know there's something, and I fell down a rabbit hole one day, and I just never looked back. And that was another good 4 or 5 years worth of seeking and looking elsewhere. And then finally, when I found it and I found God, I realized that I was absolutely priceless, and that no matter what anybody said about me or what anybody felt about me, that I didn't have to punish myself anymore, and that I could be anybody I wanted to be. I didn't have to be Jessica anymore. You're worth it, guys. I mean, like, really, if you feel the way I feel, and if anything I said today resonates with you in your soul, like, you're not worthless, and you're not a loser, and you're not a bad parent, and you're not a bad wife, you're not a bad person. You're a sick person. You're not a bad person trying to get good.
You're not alone.
You're not alone. You're a sick person trying to get well, and you got people here who love you and want you to experience life to the fullest, and living that way is not life to the fullest. It's absolutely the opposite of that.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do this every week. We want y'all to know that you don't have to drown in your character defects and in your shit, that there is bright light at the end of the tunnel, and it's love. It's love, isn't it? It's love.
It's a great, great, great feeling.
I don't have to cover up how I feel today. I don't have to wake up in the morning and say, fuck it, I quit, and go march myself over to the dope man's house and oblivion. I don't do that anymore. I got a second chance at life. I figured it out in just enough time to be able to have a second chance. I've got a good husband. He works my nerves and he's a pain in my ass, but he loves me, and that's apparent. Loves me a little too much sometimes. But I ended up having two very special little girls who never, ever, ever will have to know that mom.
Right.
And I work every day with my older children trying to show them that I'm not that mom anymore. I know that there's still some resentment, and by God, if there wasn't, there'd be something wrong. But I do try to be there for them 100% as much as I can. The husband, I do my best to be a friend to him. I do my best to let him know that I am sorry for everything that I ever did. And I do try to just be there for him if he needed me, you know, in any capacity, you know, for our kids. You know, we have gotten to a point in our lives where we are okay with each other.
Right.
And that we can sit and say hi and bye to each other and not want to shoot each other in the face. And God blessed me with a whole different life and a whole nother chance. And he can do it for any of you.
Let God.
Even if your problem is not alcoholism, if your problem is food, if your problem is sex, if your problem is literally anything.
There's a whole bunch of anonymouses.
If you have a problem with anything, you can work these steps. You can work these steps for sugar, cigarettes, anything. And it's going to make your life better, no matter what the reason, you know.
Guaranteed.
100%. Like 100 million people can't be wrong. How many people are in AA? Hundreds of millions. Through time since it started in 1935, there's been hundreds of thousands of people to do this, and hundreds of thousands of people to be successful. And
I think it's more like billions.
I'm sure. Well, there's billions of people on the earth. I think it's like hundreds of thousands of people.
No, I'm saying that his work, this
program.
Well, yeah.
We'll have to look it up. See how many people actually have done it. But
yeah, the only reason I say that is because I went to a conference last year, and
those are fun.
It said 2 billion people can't be wrong.
That's right. That's what it said.
And I was like, holy shit.
Yes. And conferences are so fun. If you haven't been to one, I highly recommend checking one out. I went
last year to Akron, Ohio.
You did that.
To
with
Dr.
the Founders Day.
Founders Day. It was amazing.
Did they do a time count off?
Yes.
That's the cool thing. So, have you ever been? A time count off is when they start and they say even down to 1 day. Who's got 1 day? And one person will stand up. Okay, great. Yay. There's like, who's got 10 days? Who's got 1 year? Everybody stands up. It's got a year. Who's got 2 years? Everybody stands up. Who's got 18 months? Everybody stands up. And then it goes on. And I think do you remember who the highest was?
Well, what it is, they'll stand up and then they'll sit back.
They'll sit back down, yeah.
I think, and Nicole may have to check me on this, it seemed like the one with the most was like 70 some odd years sober.
I think the one I went to had 60. It was 60 something in there.
I think his was like there was one with like 69 and 71. And we were like, shit. All right. Well, unfortunately, we gotta cut it off because Jessica and I...
We're gonna go to a meeting.
We're gonna go to a meeting.
Y'all come join us. Y'all come with us. All right, guys. So, I'm gonna read off a few numbers. These are so important. This is the helpline, 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-4357. Findtreatment.gov any day of the year. Y'all can call them anytime. The Kratom helpline is 866-210-1303. Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is 988. We have fought for that, y'all. 988. Y'all use it if you need it. And the CARES Warm Line is a direct call to someone who is a peer support, like we were just talking about, and they are open from 8:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. and they have all sorts of information to help someone get where they need to be. It's 1-844-326-5400. 1-844-326-5400.
All right, thank you guys. As usual, no one tells you today they love you. Remember,
We love you.
we love you.
You'll pray?
Of course.
All right.
Piper, you want to pray? Nah, she's up there chilling.
God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Y'all keep coming back. We will too. We love you. Damn.